I filed for divorce and made sure my revenge was unforgettable. Hello, Reddit I+ here. My name is Nathaniel Cross, and if you had asked me a year ago, I would have told you my life was pretty close to perfect. I was 35, married to a woman I adored, building a future I believed in. We had been together for 9 years, 3 dating, 6 married. Her name was Melanie, and I thought she was my forever. Mel wasn't just my wife. She was my home, my best friend, the person I turned to after every win, every loss. We had plans, travel, kids, building a life together brick by brick. And after struggling with 2 miscarriages, we were still trying. We were healing, or so I thought. Everything came crashing down after a wedding she attended out of town, a close friend's destination wedding. I didn't go because of work and finances. Mel understood, or pretended to. I even dropped her off at the airport, kissed her goodbye, and told her to enjoy herself. She hugged me tightly and said she loved me. It never crossed my mind that she'd return as someone I'd no longer recognize. When she came back, everything looked normal. She was bubbly, told me all about the wedding, the beach, the laughter. That night, we had dinner, watched TV, and ended up in bed like we always did. I held her while she slept. I kissed her like nothing had changed. And yet, something had. 3 weeks later, I started feeling off. Fatigue, discomfort. I thought maybe I was just burned out. I went to the doctor just to be sure, never expecting what came next. Nathaniel, the doctor said carefully, you tested positive for an STD. I laughed. Like actually laughed. That's not possible, I told him. I'm married. I've only ever been with my wife. He gave me this look, one I'll never forget, and said, sometimes the people closest to us aren't who we think they are. Those words stayed with me. Still, I couldn't believe it. So I went to another clinic across town, just to be certain. When the second test came back, it confirmed everything. Same result. That night, I sat alone in my car in the driveway for 2 hours. I stared at the front door, the door I had opened for her so many times, with this pit in my stomach, but I didn't confront her. Not yet. I needed to know. I started paying attention. She had always been careful with her phone, but I waited, patiently. One evening, while she was in the shower, I finally had a window. Her phone was clean. Too clean. No messages. No call logs beyond the obvious. No traces. Either she was meticulous, or the guy wasn't someone she messaged. I was on the verge of giving up, convincing myself the doctors were somehow wrong, until I found it. I was cleaning the bedroom while she cooked, something we used to do for each other, and her handbag was unzipped. A prescription bottle poked out. I pulled it out. The name on it was hers. The medication, antibiotics used to treat the exact STD I tested positive for. My throat dried. I Googled it 3 times to be sure. Then I called out, Melanie, can you come here? She walked in casually, drying her hands on a towel. I held up the bottle. What's this? She froze, blinked, then said, oh, that? It's for my friend. She asked me to pick it up for her. I actually laughed. It was such an insult. No, I said. We're getting tested. Both of us. Tonight. And that's when the mask slipped. She panicked. You can't force me. I don't need to. I snapped. I already got tested. Twice. I'm infected. So either you explain how that happened, or I go straight to your family and mine and let everyone know what I caught. She went pale. Her knees buckled, and she dropped onto the bed, crying. The story spilled out. The wedding, the drinking. Some old friend from college she hadn't seen in years. She said it just happened. That she was drunk. That she didn't mean for it to go that far. That she was scared and didn't want to lose me. She kept saying it was a mistake, but I wasn't hearing an apology. I was watching someone scramble because they got caught. If I hadn't gotten sick, she would have buried it. She never intended to tell me, and that was worse than the betrayal itself. I slept in the guest room that night. The next morning, I started making plans. A week later, while she was out running errands, I met with a lawyer. We didn't have kids, and the house was in my name. I filed for divorce quietly, efficiently, like a man handling a business transaction. But I wasn't done. Mel was part of a social club. Book clubs, charity groups, small-town gossip circles. I knew how much her image mattered to her, so I sent anonymous letters to the organizers of her 3 favorite groups. Just a simple note. You should know what kind of person Melanie really is before you keep her in your inner circle. Ask her what happened at Sarah's wedding. She got served the divorce papers 2 days later. I wasn't home when it happened, but when I returned, she was waiting by the door, red-eyed and shaking. Nathaniel, she sobbed. Please don't do this. We can fix this. I looked her dead in the eye. I'm not punishing you. I'm freeing myself. She begged. She cried. She even tried seduction. Disgusting, honestly. I walked right past her. In the weeks that followed, word got around. Her friends started pulling away. She got kicked out of her beloved charity circle, and her old friend from college blocked her. She told me, weeks later, in a desperate email, that she'd lost everything. I never replied. I moved out of town, started fresh, focused on my work, my health, and myself. And when people ask why I'm single, I just smile. Because I learned something vital. The deepest cuts don't always bleed right away. But when they do, they remind you exactly who not to trust. And as for Melanie, she learned that when you betray someone who gave you everything, sometimes all you're left with is nothing. It had been 7 months since I walked away from Melanie. 7 months of silence. 7 months of rebuilding my life. Alone, but whole again. I had relocated to a smaller coastal town 2 hours away. New job, new apartment, new circle. I even started therapy, something I never thought I'd do. But I needed to heal the right way, and I did. Somewhere along the way, I stopped checking her social media. I stopped replaying everything in my head. I stopped asking why. I stopped wondering if I could have done something differently, until one rainy Thursday night she showed up. It was close to 9 p.m., and I was about to shut down for the night when I heard a knock at the door, not the buzzer, an actual knock. I looked through the peephole and froze. There she was. Melanie, standing on my porch, soaked through, hugging herself. I opened the door just slightly. She looked up at me with those same tear-filled eyes I'd seen the last time we spoke. Only now, there was something else behind them, desperation. "Hi," she said quietly. "Can we talk?" I didn't respond, just stared. She stepped forward, but I didn't move. "Please," she added. "I know I'm the last person you want to see, but I had nowhere else to go." Eventually, I opened the door just enough to let her in, not because I missed her, not because I forgave her, but because I wanted to see what 7 months of silence had done to her. And trust me, it had done a lot. She looked nothing like the vibrant, confident woman who once left for that wedding with excitement in her eyes. Her hair was unkempt, her clothes wrinkled, and she carried a tote bag that looked like she'd been living out of it. "What do you want, Melanie?" I asked flatly. She lowered her head. "I lost everything." Her voice cracked. She sat down slowly, like her body was too tired to hold itself up. "My parents cut me off. I lost my job after rumors spread. The club directors told me they didn't want me around anymore. I'm staying with my cousin right now, but I can't stay there much longer. I've been applying for jobs nonstop and—" She stopped herself, swallowed. I just wanted to say I'm sorry, really sorry. I didn't flinch. I didn't rush to console her. "I forgave you," I said calmly, "but forgiving you doesn't mean I want you in my life again." She looked at me like someone who had expected a hug and got a slap instead. Her lip quivered. "I understand that. I do, but I came here because I wanted to make it right, to show you I've changed." "That's the thing, Mel," I said. "You don't get to choose when your apology is accepted, and you don't get to be the hero in a story you wrecked." She flinched. "You showed up tonight not for closure, but for rescue. You want comfort now that there's no one left to hold you." Tears welled up in her eyes. "I'm not asking to come back. I don't know what I'm asking for. I miss you. I miss us." I walked to the door and opened it. "Us died the day you chose someone else over me, and came back with more than just guilt." She didn't move. "I really did love you," she whispered. "I believe you," I said. "But love without loyalty is just manipulation dressed in pretty words." She nodded slowly, as if each word bruised her more than the last. And then, without another sound, she walked out. I watched her disappear into the rain, and for the first time in years, I felt something I hadn't felt in ages: closure. Melanie didn't just lose her husband. She lost the version of herself that was still worth fighting for. And I found a man I never thought existed. Me.